What if your healing begins the moment you stop waiting to feel better before you celebrate yourself, and instead you celebrate yourself through the noise, through the pain, through the trauma, through the fear, and through the uncertainty? So today's message is quite deep and personal, something I'm not sharing as an idea, but as something that I've lived through, overcome, and continue to grow through every day. Hey beautiful souls, welcome and welcome to Soul Unbroken. My name is Anne-Marie. I'm here to help you heal, reclaim your power, and return back to your essence of light. If you want to work with me, my details are below in the description box. This is about celebrating yourself, not on a surface level, treat yourself kind of way, though that has its place, but in a deeper spiritual sense. The kind of celebration that says, I see myself, I honor what I've been through, and I choose to keep going with love, no matter how difficult. Because let's be real, life doesn't always feel like something worth celebrating, right? Sometimes it feels heavy, sometimes it feels unfair, sometimes it feels downright scary, sometimes the lessons we're given are so painful, it changes us forever. You see, there's something powerful about simply acknowledging where you are right now. Not where you think you should be, not where other people expect you to be, but where you actually are. Maybe you're healing from heartbreak, maybe you're rebuilding from after loss, or recovering from illness, chronic pain, or trauma. Maybe you're just finding your sense of self again. Wherever you are, there is nothing wrong with you for being there. Celebrating yourself starts with saying, I made it this far, and that matters. All those baby steps added up. Even if today all you did was get out of bed, breathe through the heaviness, and just kept going. That's worthy of recognition. That alone is a small celebration, a tiny baby step. And then you just keep going. When everything external feels uncertain, your spiritual self becomes your anchor. And this doesn't have to mean some complicated esoteric or rigid practice. Your spirituality is very personal. It's your connection to something deeper, whether it's your intuition, yourself, your soul, your nature, God, or simply a quiet inner knowing. For me, reconnecting with my spiritual self looked like slowing down. It meant sitting with my thoughts instead of getting busy. It meant asking myself hard questions and staying around to hear the answers. It meant learning to listen, not to fear, but to truth. And sometimes, often, that truth can be uncomfortable, but it can also be freeing. Because your spiritual self doesn't judge you. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't compare you. It simply invites you to who you really are beneath all that noise. Pain has a way of making you feel powerless, like things are happening to you instead of for your growth. And I'm not here to pretend that everything happens for a reason in some neat, packaged way. Some experiences just hurt, full stop. But within that pain, there is still something that belongs to you, and that is your response. Reclaiming your power doesn't mean forcing positivity. It means choosing how you meet your reality. It's saying, I may not control what happened, but I can choose how I move forward. And that choice is incredibly powerful. It might look like setting boundaries. It might look like walking away. It might look like finally speaking your truth, or simply deciding that you are worthy of peace, however that looks like. Every time you choose yourself in an honest, congruent and aligned way, you take your power back. This is the part that most people skip. We wait until we've healed enough, achieved enough, or fixed enough before we put ourselves back out there, before we can feel proud of ourselves or even feel whole again. But what if you didn't wait? What if you celebrated yourself now? Not as a finished product, but as a human being in progress. Every time you fall down and you pick yourself up, that's a win. Celebrate that. Don't focus on there's a beautiful African proverb, don't focus on where you fell. Pay attention to where you tripped. Okay, because we get so caught on where we fell and we don't pay attention to what actually made us fall. Celebrate your resilience, celebrate your softness, celebrate the fact that despite everything, your heart is still open, your beautiful, beautiful heart. You've not held on to grudges or become bitter or sour or angry. Instead, you stayed open in a world that has hurt you. And that's courage. And that deserves a pat on your back. Now, here's the thing. Your healing is not just for you. The more you come back to yourself, to your love, to your power, to your light, the more capacity you have to show up for others. Not from an empty space, but from overflowing. You've heard me talk about this in other videos, about filling your own cup first so that you can overflow. And that's how you show up for others. When you do the work to heal, reflect and grow, you naturally begin to move through the world differently. You become more compassionate, more understanding, more intentional with your energy. And that energy spreads. No longer are you trying to save anyone, and authenticity is contagious. I know people talk about authenticity so much these days, and it's become a bit of a loaded word, unfortunately, just like empathy has. But we have to stay true to spiritual law. Your presence alone can remind someone else that healing is possible. Let's not pretend this is easy. There will be days when none of this feels real. Days where the pain is so loud that growth seems impossible. Days where celebrating yourself feels just unrealistic and nothing makes sense. On those days, keep it simple. Keep it really, really simple. Come back to your breath. Come back to the present moment. Check and change your thoughts. Come back to one small act of care for yourself. Just a smile, just for you. A quiet self-acknowledgement. A quiet nod to yourself. Healing is not in a straight line. It's messy. It can be cyclical, and it's deeply human. And that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're doing the work. If you take anything from this, let it be this. You are allowed to honor your pain and celebrate yourself at the same time. You are allowed to be healing and powerful, struggling and growing, learning and still worthy of love. Your story, every part of it, is shaping you into someone with depth, empathy, and strength. And the world needs that. Boy, does the world need that. So don't wait until everything feels perfect. Don't wait until you feel healed. Because the world is needing your love, your experience, your empathy. Celebrate yourself now. Reconnect with who you are, reclaim your power, step back into your light, and keep choosing love even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. So thank you again, as always, for hanging out with me. And until next time, take care of yourself. And as always, so much love from my heart to you.